Welcome to ModCast, an official podcast of the Politan Civilization site.
Wouter, Snijders,
Kenneth, Ferland,
Tony Kiehl. With guest co-host
David Allen.
Yeah,
Welcome. Oh, you want to start? I'm just going to start.
No, I was going to say, say to the audience, coming to you, pre-recorded from...
From Arizona. Scenic
from across
Arizona.
the world.
From across the world. We have all kinds of people today.
Yes.
From how many continents? Two, I guess, right?
We're on two, only two continents.
However,
Okay.
it is the most Dutch episode ever, I guess.
I guess.
Oh, okay. Coming half from America, half from the Dutch.
Yeah, it's split right down the middle. We got good, the least nationalities, at least in this episode.
Well, technically still three, so...
Welcome to ModCast episode 16. Today, we are joined with Wouter, Locutus, Snijders,
Hello.
Kenneth, Impaler, WRG, Ferland,
Hail.
me, Tony, GarretSidzaka, Kiehl, and with special guest co-host, Peter, Maniac, Steenbeke.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Okay, was that
Howdy.
a good introduction?
Oh, you like that?
Yeah.
Thank you.
This is our Sweet 16 episode.
Sweet 16.
We can drink now.
Do we get... what do we get?
No, not in America.
No.
You can't do anything at 16 in America.
Not all of us live in barbaric countries like yours.
The only thing you can
Yeah,
do really
yeah.
easily in a 16 in America is go to juvie or jail
I
drinking or something.
I think you can drink alcohol here, but I'm not sure.
I think you can.
Wait a minute, you can do everything in your country. It's like...
Yeah, you know what? You live in the Netherlands too, right, Peter?
No, Belgium. Yes, so we have all the good beers, so of course we want to drink alcohol as soon as possible.
Well, I have really important news for everyone listening to the show. It's really big news, and I have to first thank you, Wouter, but me and my whole family are moving to the Netherlands pretty soon here.
What?
Thanks to Wouter. And we're staying at his flat.
No, you're not.
Oh. Well, I have new news that I will not be moving to Netherlands like previously stated.
I doubt you on your own would fit in my apartment, let alone the rest of your family.
I wouldn't even fit through your door.
Probably not.
Yeah, you know those European flats is...
And I live very small even by European standards, so I
Okay.
like it.
Oh,
He's almost going Japanese.
Yeah, probably. I wouldn't be surprised if most Japanese houses are larger than mine. I like it.
oh man. Today, in the artist Sketchpad, we looked at Zenobia by Ekmek and Ronald Regan, also by Ekmek.
And today in the Code Corner, we summarized the Jungle mod by Kuneru and the Dale's Combat Mad 3.7 version by Dale.
And in today's Spotlight, we talk to Maniac about his Planetfall mod.
Artist Sketchpad, where we discuss graphics and artwork from the Civ modding community.
We also have a couple pieces of artwork, and it seems that they are both by Ekmek, and they are both leaderheads.
Leaderhead.
Leaderheads. I love leaderheads. And one of these leaderheads is your personal hero.
Of who?
What?
Your personal
Mine?
hero, yes.
Me?
But the first one is Zenobia. Now this one is a kind of cool looking leaderhead I just noticed a couple weeks ago. And I think there's only a download page for it, but there is a screenshot of her.
Okay, so who is Zenobia? Never heard of a person historically.
Queen of Palmyra. She lived in the 3rd century or something, and she kind of conquered half the east of the Roman Empire or something. And then she got
Queen of what?
Palmyra.
Oh,
Never
okay,
heard of
okay.
it.
So she lived in 3rd century, and she kind of conquered some Roman countries before she was obviously defeated. Otherwise, you would have heard of her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
One of those,
yeah,
the winners write the history book kind of thing?
Yeah.
kind of, yeah. But
Well,
she is hot.
she's fairly famous. I've always lobbied to have her as a second Arab leader. It would be cool to have a female Arab leader, but
Yeah.
so it's cool to have this leader in there.
Is she Arab? Or whatever. Kind of.
Well, she's from Syria, so close enough.
So is that the
Yeah, I
area
guess
where
so.
this empire was centered?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was just a big trade city in a desert, basically, Palmyra.
Oh, okay.
Well, she did really good, and she's got very, very luscious lips.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Never mind.
The most important thing Tony knows about her.
Yes, that's kind of the thing that caught my eye. I was like, look at those lips.
Yeah, I like the work on the crown portion, and it looks like there's like kind of an Egyptian-style headdress there. I wonder how that actually looks when it's animated. I mean,
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
really
I think we're still here. We were talking over each other, and then we were waiting for each other.
Uh-oh.
Yes?
Hello?
That was weird.
No,
You
not
need to
really.
include that in the ModCast.
It was more like a Middle Eastern crown or head thingy.
okay.
Yeah, definitely.
No.
I think it's very cool, and I think it looks period. And I think it doesn't look like any leaders really. What leader is that based off of?
I think the mesh is original. It doesn't look like anyone I recognize.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And then I have one other leader head, and this is your personal hero, Ken.
Oh no, it's the reanimated corpse of Ronald Regan!
And I believe he tried...
He's going to be vice president now.
I believe he made a custom mesh, and then he used the skinning technique that I've been doing, where I used to do the face peel.
Yeah. I have to say, on this one, it really accentuates the wrinkliness, does it not?
That's the good part. I think the wrinkliness needs to be accentuated on that old bastard.
Yeah, you know. I don't know. When most of the other leader heads have slightly a cartoony, exaggerated feel to them, the hyper-realistic skin just kind of clash a little bit with the rest of the leader head. You know what I mean? Like
He
the
does
hair,
look like a zombie, in my opinion.
the body.
On that picture. Yeah, no, his head seems to be put on the body, but I don't know.
Well, it looks like he did a lot of editing on the face to try to get the wrinkles in his flesh.
Yeah. Also, is his nose really that big, or is it just being made to look bigger?
Well, I think he definitely has an exaggerated... He looks more like a caricature of Reagan in here, but he definitely looks like Reagan.
I don't know. It's you know, if you have to you have to look at all the political cartoons to see how a person's caricatures evolve as they become president. As like they say, like if you look at Bill Clinton when they made a cartoon of him early on, he looked relatively normal, and then as you get later and later, his nose gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Until, like, you know, like, at the end, it's like a giant nose and two tiny squinty eyes. And everyone knows that's Bill Clinton being caricatured. Because over the course of 8 years, you have been conditioned to know that that's what a Bill Clinton cartoon looks like.
Well, they've made George Bush look pretty much like a chimpanzee at this point.
Yes, yeah, it's evolved there. The hat gets bigger, the ears get bigger.
Yeah.
He gets shorter.
He always looks like
Yeah.
that.
Well, he does. You kind of look the way you look in the cartoon, in a way.
Yeah, but my point is that it gets worse. And I don't remember what the caricatures of Reagan looked like, since I never actually got to read them in the paper.
Were you born
You were
yet?
too little.
Yeah.
Oh, we
Well,
were born.
I was born in 81, but, you know, I didn't start to actually become aware of who the president was until, like...
You know, I used to call this guy...
I was only 10, you know.
I used to call this guy Ronald McDonald when I was a little kid. Because I was born in 80, so when most of his presidency, I was just a little ass kid. I call him Ronald McDonald.
Yeah. Well, I don't even, like, remember... Like, the first president I actually remember, I think, was Bush Sr.
Yeah.
Actually being aware of who the president was.
Well, went to a war or something.
It's a coup! I seize power! Ah!
Welcome to the Code Corner, where we discuss Python and SDK mods.
Alright. Now it's Ken time, Ken's moment, Ken's part of the show where no one else knows what he's talking about.
How is that different from any other part of the show?
Well, that's every segment for me.
Yeah, you got a point there. Okay, so our first mod here in the Code Corner is an XML-based mod called the Jungle Mod by Kuneru. I believe that's how I'm pronouncing his name correctly. Also to note, this mod is only available in Japanese. He's Japanese. But it should work for the regular game if he hasn't been tested, though. But this mod basically makes the jungle terrain feature not suck. And in fact, I would think it probably makes it a little too good, in my opinion. Because if I had all these bonuses, I would never chop my jungles now. First off, it takes off the -1 food penalty in the jungle, which I kind of agree with. I actually modded that myself. Then it allowed you to build camps on top of jungles, and the camps do not move the jungle. The camps on their own base produce 1 production, 1 commerce, plus another commerce on a river. Plantations don't remove the jungle. Civil service gives you another +1 food on the camps and plantations, and guilds gives you another commerce on the camps and the plantations. So I mean, you're just busting out with commerce.
Which adds up to?
Yeah, it's like ginormously huge production.
Well, it turns them into almost little hamlets and stuff and villages.
Yeah, but you're getting huge food production as well, because you're going to get 2 food from the grassland, plus another food. So it's 3 food, and up to 3 or 4 commerce. I mean, yeah, that's like as good as a town on a plane. That's like town with the maxed out bonuses where you get the free speech and everything like that.
Oh yeah.
And then on top of that,
well, you could argue that it's realistic.
No, wait, that's not all of it. Now he's got rainforest preserves on top of that. It's a new improvement, like the forest preserve, which has like all kinds of additional crazy bonuses, like +2 commerce here. Environmental civics gives you another +4 commerce on top of that. Ecology gets you +1 production, and genetics gets you +1 food.
Exactly.
So you're producing mad resources off these rainforest preserves. I wonder if they also give you the effect.
Well, those only become useful in the late game, but of course, yeah. Now it's easier to just leave your jungles.
Oh yeah, I would look for
roads, of course,
it would change how you start. If I get a start where it's like I'm completely immersed in jungle, I'll turn off the game. But now I'd be like, woohoo!
If you're gonna be realistic, then Civ 4 does a pretty good job. Jungle generally isn't great for large-scale civilizations, for small tribes and stuff like that. It's fantastic, and of course on a global scale.
Well, they need to bring back swamp and make jungles okay, and make swamps suck.
True. I mean, I always thought they did make jungle much too hard.
But you could make the same argument about swamps. They kind of cause diseases, just like all kinds of tropical diseases in jungles. But they're good for the ecology in general. So you make the same argument that swamps also need to have bonuses to be realistic or something. So I don't know.
Yeah, and you know what they did to build civilizations like the Khmer? They cut down all the jungle. I mean, that's what the Mayans did. That's what the Indonesians did. The empires and West Africa.
I know. When you think of jungle, you probably think of Africa or the Amazons, but Southeast Asia and Indonesia, those 2 are jungle, I think, so it definitely can support large civilizations.
Yeah, I mean, Locutus has nailed it. I mean, everyone...
Yeah, they do cut down a lot of jungle.
But they should get hammers for chopping down those jungles as well.
Yes, they can do whatever they want, and they should get +1 food on any jungle square that you cut down, because all the ashes from Slash and Burn give you fertility in the soil.
Yeah, but why wouldn't you apply that also to forest if you had it for jungles, since there's just as much...
Well, you don't slash and burn a forest, you freaking harvest. No, when you're doing a good old growth forest.
That's how they cleared most of North America. They cut down the trees, they burned it, and they sold the ashes,
and Europe.
Potash, to Europe.
I thought they just used the damn wood.
No, you don't...
That's way too slow.
No, they could never use that much wood. 99% of the wood is just burned when you clear a hardwood forest.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what I thought.
See? It's no different than clearing a jungle forest. Now, when you talk about commercial lumber production, yes, then you are clearing away the stuff and taking it to make wood out of. But for agricultural purposes, no, they don't save the wood.
Oh, that's weird. Dale released his final version of the Dale's Combat mod.
Yes, Dale's Combat mod Beyond the Sword 3.17, the ultimate Dale Combat mod.
Dale's Combat mod, of course, is famous for things like ranged bombardment and bombing missions. And does he still have the fighting melee thing in it? I don't know.
He has everything in this. He's got the Civ customizer, allows you to change your Civ at the beginning of the game. You basically choose your feature, your traits, your leader head, everything.
Oh yeah.
Air combat missions. You can bomb places, bomb buildings. You get like a battlefield effect of smoke and ruins whenever there's a battle.
Oh, he said you can bomb boats inside of
the
forts
Pearl
now.
Harbor effect.
You can bomb boats inside of forts now.
Does it have artillery duels like in Smack? Or
Well, it has the stacked attack mod, and I believe when those happen, the artillery is firing first or in some way engages in the battle in a special way.
Yes, but artillery duel in Smack was if one artillery fired to another, the artillery, it was a combat between the artillery. Instead of Civ 4, just one cannonball attacks the other and it doesn't fire back.
It just takes it, you know. Okay, I don't know if he's implemented that, but he has a part where he allows archers to do a ranged bombardment, similar to artilleries.
Yeah.
That's, again, only to the adjacent plot. They don't really have the range of artilleries, but it's probably just, it's mechanically being done the same way. He's just give them all a range of 1 or something. You can change your Civ in the middle of play, so this is like the thing you could do in Smack where you'd go into the editor and change your Civ. Did you play any of those, Maniac, where you'd like, the rule is you have to build your Civ up, your faction, until you're first place, and then you switch to the last place, and you build them up until they're in first place, and you go back to the last placer again?
I think I did it
Did you
once,
ever play one of those?
but I think I got defeated by my own university, so it kind of failed.
Yeah.
You got defeated. You made him strong
Well,
enough.
eventually, but the more switches you do, the better. It's like if you can get them back up to number 1. So like I would play one where I'm like the Peacekeepers, and then they were number 1, and I switched to the Believers because they were of course last place, and then I make the Believers.
No, the Believers we kill as fast as possible, of course.
Yeah, I usually do, but on the rules of that game I had to actually play the Believers, which was like, Okay. There's also opportunity fire. If something is passing by a fort you control that has artillery in it, it will automatically bombard the enemies. There's an active defense system where your fighters will engage troops coming at them on the ground. So like if the base where the fighters are is going to be attacked by infantry, they'll attack.
Oh yeah, with Dale and any of Dale's mods, your fighters, you have to have fighters because his fighters rock. His fighters, he makes air combat not suck.
And he has a nuclear bomber unit, which is essentially a World War II era bomber. This is so you don't go.
Which I made. I made that.
Well, you just made it off the regular bomber of the game, and you stuck a nuke in it.
Dude, do you know how hard it was to do that graphic?
Graphics. I know nothing of that.
Yeah.
That graphic rocks.
So you don't go straight to ICBMs, is the point. You get nuclear bombers, then you get ICBMs. So it's actually, there's a little area there nuclear-wise where your range is limited, and you can't completely annihilate the entire planet with your nukes.
And you can be shot down.
I don't think I've ever used a nuke in Civ 4. Have you?
Yeah,
guys?
I used nukes all the time in Civ 2, but in Civ 4,
Okay.
I rarely even get to the modern era, and if I do, I don't use nukes.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of nukes myself, mostly because
It's called nuclear hopscotch, where you have your tanks, you launch your nuke, then you take the city, and you launch your next nuke, you take the next city.
Oh, kind of like chop and drop in Smack.
Yeah, chop and drop.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I just crush them with the regular stuff. Now, the stacks look like they're a great way to save time.
Yeah.
There's some interesting and complex stuff as to how the stack combat actually engages. It's like he adds like rows of infantry in the front, ranged units behind. The cavalry gets to like make an attack first, and it's very complicated. In that sense, it's kind of weird for me, as I'm not able to understand what's going to happen. From a gameplay perspective, it would almost seem simpler for me if everything just kind of attacked randomly, and then I would be, well, I know I have this type of troop and this type of troop, and they will probably win, rather than having to do it all, actually know what's going on. But this is a pretty slick mod. I mean, it's a lot of code behind it, obviously. This requires its own DLL, because this is all implemented DLL-wise, and this is pretty much going to be the final version, so there's no reason not to get this if you're waiting for more features.
Oh yeah, download it. And it's by my homeboy Dale.
And he'd be your homeboy, but he's from another continent. How exactly is that home?
No, he's my brother from another continent.
They made Road to War together, I guess.
I don't see how that's home to you, though. Okay, I don't know.
Get out of here.
You were there, Impaler.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
did. We
what's
did a lot of
that?
work together
See.
from another continent.
You were there, Impaler.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
The Spotlight is where we have a detailed discussion about one particular Civ 4 mod.
We have a special guest today, and you're known as Maniac on the forums. Do you have an imbalance?
Ah, yeah. No.
Chemical imbalance.
Yeah, my original nickname was Maniac, with an S at the start. And but yeah, after a while, just that name meant Smack Maniac. It was the same as a mod I made at a later date with the same name. But yeah, after a while, I just changed it to Maniac. But yeah, first it was Maniac with scroll at. But even later, I just changed it to Maniac with just A's. But yeah, so
you had Dan change the name of your account, which I know Polyton can do that for you if you really want to have it named.
Yeah.
Your name changed without losing all your forum count post things. I've seen it done on a couple occasions.
Keep all your posts. They did delete someone else's account for me to be able to change my nick. So thank you.
Oh yeah. Because that person had basically abandoned their account. That's the only situation in which they'll delete
We
an
don't
account.
go about deleting people with 10,000 posts. That's not a good idea.
Yeah, he hadn't posted in a couple of years or so.
Although in some cases. It's tempting.
Well, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I better be careful. I'm not at 10,000 yet.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who are on the off topic, would probably like to be deleted.
Oh, it's bad. I'm having bad thoughts now.
Okie dokie.
But yeah. So I believe that you, Ken, and Wouter all know Maniac for a long time back, and I believe I've done a little bit of work with you too.
Yes. Well,
I knew Maniac earliest was in the Democracy games, and the second Alpha Centauri Democracy game, where we both did a lot of work together, planning the invasion of the Pirates faction.
Yeah.
You remember that, Maniac?
Indeed. I was Manny Alpha 3, and you were? Or do you remember?
My screen name?
Yes,
It was
well,
the same.
yeah, we changed our names to something more cybernetic, like Money, then Alpha 3.
I think
But,
something along those lines.
Okay, you don't remember. A pity.
But
But okay, yeah.
I remember that war very
Pirate
well.
Inf.
We completely rolled them over. They never saw it coming.
Indeed, we of course used a lot of treachery, so yeah.
Yes, it was one of the most treacherous attacks ever.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, as usual, the first Democracy game, which was played, it always kind of involved heavy emotions. Of course, so everyone being angry at each other. It was also that case with the first civilization democracies, but
And
I
then,
still vividly remember it.
and then I believe it was in the third Democracy game we were on different teams. I was
Indeed.
with the Morgans, and I think you were with the Spartans?
Indeed, and then we bombed you with all kinds of needle jets.
Yeah, I was kind of
We destroyed
left
your
that
captain.
game halfway through, but I remember that. You destroyed you destroyed the mass transit system, which we really liked. It was
And
in
the
our
human
capital.
product and the planetary energy grid.
All of our good projects were secret projects. Why do they call them secret
Yeah.
projects when everyone knows about them? Well, in our
Yeah, I
capital.
know.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, let's build a super obvious project, guys. We're going to call it the planetary energy grid,
Yeah.
No one will know about it,
I didn't know you could bomb out the projects, though. That sucks.
Yeah, I pretty much stopped playing that Democracy game after that happened.
Yeah.
Good reason.
Democracy game. Oh, man. That's funny. But isn't that lead us right to what I believe one of your biggest projects right now is recreating
My secret project.
Alpha's, your secret project, basically, we'll call it that,
Yeah.
of recreating Smack in a new Civ 4 format called Planetfall.
Well, I don't know if recreating is the correct word. It doesn't.
Reimagining.
Yeah, indeed. That word is kind of used a lot these days. So, but it isn't a clone. It's It's more, it is a mod for Civ 4, and it uses the same story, the same atmosphere, the same characters, but it does not have the intention to duplicate the gameplay as closely as possible.
Now, let me say this. Are you perhaps making a spiritual successor to the otherwise mired in limbo Sid Meier's Alpha Centauri franchise?
A spiritual successor. I'm not sure what you mean.
It's kind of a vague question, it is, Tony. I mean, he's just making an Alpha Centauri mod. How complicated is it?
Well, what I'm trying to say
Not
is
very well so far.
Alpha Centauri doesn't look like it's going to be a sequel anytime soon.
Well, I don't know, how are those 2K and Electronic Arts talks proceeding? I don't know.
Well, it's sort of financially, you sort of expect it to be inevitable, but there's a lot of issues with it.
Yeah, indeed, it does look to be very, likely merger.
No.
Heck, okay.
Yeah, but Take-Two is really a small player compared to EA and Activision. It's gonna be bought up by one of those two eventually.
Like a few recent successes by Take-Two games, like Grand Theft Auto and Civ Revolution.
I hope not, but I think it's kind of inevitable.
True that, I guess. Maybe not. They got a strong running.
Oh yeah, I kind of hope they would merge.
I tend to agree with Luke.
You would like if they merged, because they might remake Smack. You might even be able to help them develop.
Indeed. I would count on Impaler to make me a beta tester, of course.
At least a beta tester.
Yeah,
Indeed.
At least.
pretty much.
Oh, but Locutus's basic point is that there's a lot of consolidation in the industry is definitely true. I mean, it's becoming like the movie industries. There's going to be like 3 big studios, maybe less, that control everything.
Don't even talk like that. Let's just pretend it's not going to happen.
Indie is very, very big in the games industry. But yeah, you're not going to see a Smack 2 from the indies because the license is just too expensive for that.
Well, like the movie industry, there'll still be indie producers, like people will just up and out of nowhere, someone will make the Blair Witch Project of movies, and it'll be, something out of left field,
I'm playing an indie game right now.
No, of course not the actual thing, but so people can make awesome games, I'm saying.
Yeah, but
And you can
the
also
story
make a
it is
mod.
the same. I mean, you can make any kind of space game, but it's the story which makes it special. Not really.
And make sure you write an original story. That'd be sweet. Don't just transcribe the old story. Just make a new story.
Well, that would have to be a really good one to beat the Smack one, in my opinion. But yeah.
Oh, the Smack one was good.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to get some really high-level writers, basically. I mean, and I don't know of any writer mods out there. People who mod Civilization games tend to be the more technical types, and there's artist types, but I never seen really any writer types out there.
Fall from
might be
Heaven, of
out
course,
there.
but yeah. That's about it.
Yeah, Fall from
That's
Heaven.
about it, I guess.
Yeah, that's the way. Yeah, I guess some of the people that did the Spartan Chronicles and things like that, who like to come up with stories, you
Yes,
know.
indeed.
And getting a story worked in with a game, it's like that's tricky.
But it are the only games which I play, those which have also have good story. Smack,
Yeah, I like
StarCraft, that kind of thing. System Shock 2.
I wouldn't say I exclusively have to have a story with my game, but it does spice it up definitely a bit. It definitely gets a little more emotional involvement in it.
Yeah, exactly. Story is really only good for one playthrough. It's the gameplay that ensures replayability.
You might want to sit down and play it more times in a row too, if there's a good story that.
Unless it's a freelancer type story that can go in many different directions, which I guess Smack sort of is as well.
Well, of course, yes.
Yeah, but only if the game's basic engine also has replayability as well.
Well, that's of course the core of.
I meant Wing Commander, by the way, Lancer, but
Yeah, I don't know. I still watched every Secret Project movie, every opportunity I could get. So that's that game definitely has replay.
Well,
yeah,
the Secret Project.
Wing Commander.
Yeah, you'd end
Wing
up
Commander
losing,
is a
but-
one-time only thing.
I don't know.
Yeah, and they're like incredibly hackneyed plot.
No, it had Mark Hamill in one of them, and it had.
but it
had
really it
actors
could go in
in
completely different direction based on how well you've done the missions. It's something that you could play easily 3-4 times and have completely different stories.
I remember playing one of the Wing Commander games. It was
So that was kind of cool about that game. Well, if you actually get shot down, but if you just fail the mission but you still survive, the story would go in a different direction.
Yeah, but if you did badly, you would your story would end prematurely. Yeah, indeed,
So
prematurely.
that was really cool about that game. I mean, that's why I corrected myself compared to Wing Commander, compared to Freelancer, because that's the complete opposite. Had a decent story, but it was completely linear.
I just thought your character died if you lost. There were no cutscenes for that. You get to see a cutscene of your own funeral now.
Yeah,
Well,
that's...
Well, I always got up to a mission where the carrier was being blown up, and I lost that mission, and then it's just like, hey, everyone died now, not just you. In fact, you're in a ship now with no carrier to land on. You starve and die slowly over the course of 3 days.
I remember Wing Commander 2. I didn't know yet the game had diverging stories.
Yeah, that's kind of funny.
I got on a losing pot, and simply after 24 missions, I was told, I
that's
lost,
just
and
bad
I
game
was
design. You don't see that anymore.
transferred back to my
At least not
original
as
station,
often.
and I thought, what the fuck? What kind of an ending is this? And only later I did discover. I had to replay a couple of missions, but then I got to the end.
Yeah, okay, but not in that sense. Just making a decision sort of at the start of the game and that guaranteed that you lose 20 hours later. That's something that's fairly rare, fortunately.
Yeah, you still see bad game design. Come on.
EA games. Oh.
Yeah, actually. So
No.
your question: spiritual successor of Smack. Well, of course, personally, I don't think amateur mods need to be of lesser quality than professional mods. So I definitely think my mod could be the spiritual successor. But of course, there's never going to be a consensus about that. Everyone has their own ideas about Smack. And you can already see that with Planetfall. Many people are complaining it differs too much from too much. It's too different from Smack. So basically everyone has their own idea, and there's never going to be any consensus within the community of this is the true successor.
Well, there's never even a consensus, even if there's an official game made. Some people will always say, "Oh, this game isn't truly a great successor to the real game," even though it was made by the same people and has like 2 under the title. I mean, so I don't see how you're really at that much of a disadvantage. Maybe you've got less people who agree with you because of it, but hey, no big deal.
There are lots of people who say if it's made by Phyrexis, then it's official. Something like that.
Oh, well, don't worry about it, because you know what? Your mod looks pretty good, and the graphics just need to come together and just get a done mod.
A small
As for
obstacle.
how different you are from Smack, that's also going to be hugely limited by your programming ability. And I've heard you guys had an issue with your programmers lately.
Yes, they've all left over time. But
That's a
basically...
pretty big issue.
Yes. it used to be a year ago you could definitely call Planetfall a team project, but people kind of gradually lost interest, and I guess these days it could better be described as a solo project, and usually I contact some people for some limited requests, and but recently I have gained the ability to compile the DLL myself. So so the mod definitely isn't dead, and it will by the time this ModCast will be published, there should definitely be a 3.17 compatible mod available. Yeah.
Goody gumdrops.
Yeah, and
Sweet.
That's
what I'm saying. I need to start playing some Smack. I need to get some Smack on. I need to go smack my up.
Okay, that last one was a little over the top there.
Okay.
Okay. Moving right along.
That's a famous song.
Yeah.
Well, but,
That we know, Tony.
give us some of the goals as to how closely you want your mod to eventually become like Smack.
Yeah.
What features of Civ 4 would you want to retain because you simply feel they're better than Smack features, and what things do you want to make more like Smack?
Whoa, that's a general question. I'll try to come up with some stuff. Well, yeah, actually...
I'm afraid I've stumped him.
You know what I like?
Okay.
Civ 4's event system.
Now there will follow a couple moments of silence, but I don't know. I think generally Civ 4 is in terms of gameplay mechanics, a much better game than Smack. So really, for instance, determining the base facilities, the buildings, I don't try to mimic them as close as possible to Smack. I just look at the Civ 4 game, and see what needs there are, and then I try to find a Smack concept which fits the bill. For instance, I don't know, this example isn't coded in yet, but it's the perfect example to illustrate my point. The Gene Jack Factory.
Excellent.
In Smack, that one gives one unhappy person and a plus 50% minerals or something.
It was totally unbalanced.
Yeah, it was very powerful, but you could duplicate those effects perfectly in Civ 4, but I don't know. In my opinion, it would kind of be an uninteresting base facility. But I think from the point of view of Civ 4, and for instance, one thing which we discovered during early gameplay testing was that horizontal expansion, so building lots of bases was way too powerful. So there needed to be a way to turn food into production. In unmodded Civ 4, this is slavery. So you just whip your citizens. But I don't think that really fits in the Smack atmosphere, except for Yank throwing distance in the recycling tanks. But it's also kind of too much micromanagement to my tastes. So the idea for the Gene Jack Factory is that it gives 2 hammers for every drone in your base.
Every unhappy citizen.
Yeah, indeed. So that's the way to fulfill a gameplay need for Civ 4, turning food into production. But I look at Smack and pick whatever building or concept most fits the idea.
And then you translate it.
Indeed. So basically, most building effects will be different. Then you see lots of familiar names, but the gameplay is actually totally different.
Very sweet. Now, tell me a little bit more about yourself, specifically. What do you do, and where do you live? Or where do you live, and what do you do?
I wasn't going to answer those questions.
Yeah, Tony, weren't you paying attention when I asked him whether we could ask them, and he said no?
Okay.
Not to,
Are you a secret agent?
Yeah, something like that. No.
Are you, or have you ever been, a communist?
He's from Europe. Of course he's a communist.
Yes, in fact, I have been. in my teens, of course, but you realize you become smarter after a while.
Almost every European country actually does have an active communist party in it.
That's true. Well, we do too in America.
Well, no, I mean like actually real.
Yeah.
Maybe 5-10% of their parliaments or something like this. They never get form governments.
No. I think here it is 0.5% or something.
Not really. Maybe 20-30 years ago, but there are pretty fringe parties in most of Europe at this point.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Fringe parties, they never get...
Isn't those the people who sell the Che Guevara t-shirts?
I think the French Communist Labor Union is the biggest in France. That's true. I think so, yes. But whatever, that's where I diverge.
Yeah, but 5% is a large party over here.
Okay.
Again. Yeah.
Okay, disregard the communist question then. And a question about who you are and where do you live, because you're super secret.
Okay, whatever.
In fact, edit that whole part out.
No, it's staying in. All of this is staying in. This is funny.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever, yeah.
If you think so.
Alright. Well, then let me ask you another smackish question. Are most of your modding affairs in Civ 4 related to Smack, or is there anything else that you've done of notice that's completely unrelated to Smack?
Well, I did make a mod for Fall from Heaven, but of course Kiehl is constantly updating his mod, so that's kind of outdated. When I started on Planetfall,
He broke your mod.
Yes. When I started on Planetfall, I stopped updating the mod, so it's dead right now.
Well, you could always update it once Kiehl's done next.
Yeah, I think he'll be done in December, but I doubt I think by that time Planetfall will be.
And of course, by that point, there'll be another Beyond the Sword patch, which will break everything all over again.
Yeah, that would be a disaster. Anyway, I hate patches. They
Pray for stability.
They break my mods.
Yeah.
And
They
that
do.
was-
They're mod-breaking pieces of crap. Especially, what I hate is if you get a whole load of code from some dude, if you're code inept,
Yeah.
and then you're like, thanks, and then 2 days later the patch comes out and all your code's f***ing broken,
Indeed, that's a problem.
and the dude has already went back to whatever cave the coders come from.
Yeah, that's basically why Planetfall was almost dead after patch 3.17, but now it's alive again.
Yeah.
And then just so everyone knows, I was completely joking. There was no patch plan.
Yeah, I know.
To my knowledge.
You tried to scare me, man.
Yeah. Scare some people and overexcite others.
Call in today. In North America, the number is 301-637-7659. That's 301-637-POLY. In Europe, 44121-288-7659. That's 44121-288-POLY. You can Skype us at The Polycast or email us at polycast@apolitan.net.
The only thing worse than being talked about is not being talked about.
For more information on ModCast, our sibling show Polycast, or about Polycast in general, log on to the series' official website at polycast.apolitan.net.
So, are you sure, Wouter, that I can't move in with you just long enough to get up on my feet?
No, thank you. My bedroom is just big enough for one bed, so that's not even gonna work.
I'll sleep right on the floor, right next to your bed.
Possibly at your feet.
No, I'll just curl up in the corner.
Under the bed. He'll get under the bed.
You can have a pile of hay for me back in the stable.
Yeah. I wish I had a stable. I don't think you'd fit in that.
All right, can we just call your closet the stable and put a pile of hay in there? Damn.
Well,
All right, you've crushed all my dreams.
But the European closet is so much smaller than the American.
I really want to live in the Netherlands now. I'm going to move to the Netherlands and not tell you now. And I'm just going to knock on your door and be like, hey, Walter, now I am Netherlander too.
and I say bye-bye, Tony. See you
He's
online.
stalking you.
Oh, man. That really stabs to the core.
Yeah, that's the point.
It cuts me deep, man. It cuts me deep.
It's terrible. It's terrible. I guess that's what I get for being crazy.
Yep, pretty much.
Okay, guys, so I guess we're pretty much wrapped up here.
We are pretty much wrapped up
Okay.
here. Well, I think we've had a lot of fun. I think, Wouter, as soon as you come up in the world and you buy, like, a big house...
I'm never gonna buy a big... Well, maybe if I'm rich enough to pay for a maid.
There are no big houses in the Netherlands.
I'll be your maid. I'll even wear a maid outfit.
Okay, that makes it even worse.
Yeah, that's not making it any better.
You sure? Because I'm pretty hairy. It looked good.
Moving right along.
Hey, don't they go for that thing in the Netherlands?
All right. Today, we have been joined with Wouter, Locutus, Snijders,
Bye-bye.
Kenneth, Impaler, WRG, Ferland,
Hasta la vista.
me, Tony GarretSidzaka, Kiehl, bye, and with special guest co-host, Peter, Maniac, Steenbeke.
Yo! Okay.
All right. We've had a lot of fun.
Actually, almost pronounced that right.
I can't do anything right.
That's actually supposed to be a
All right,
compliment.
Oh, well, I will see you guys in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
I am actually, of course. You don't want me anymore. Woohoo.
Well, unless you want to become our new co-host.
Record date.
August 3rd, 2008.
Sound clips copyright Civilization 4 and the Warlords and Beyond the Sword expansion packs. Copyright 2008 Apolitan Civilization site at apolitan.net.